Okay, guys, give me a minute, and we're going to try to get some homework accomplished here together. And at least I can get you started on it and hopefully give you help on the sections that might be trickiest. So, let's get going. All right, this is 1 to 42 and 47 to 56 on pages 495 to 496. Okay. I'm going to get a different pencil, see if this one's any better. Not much. Hang on. Alright, so if you will follow along with me, we're going to start on page 495. Alright, and it says, the first directions say, find the complement for the following angles. And it gives us an angle to begin with of 70 degrees. Now remember, complementary angles have to add up to what? Right, 90 degrees. So, I can find out what the other guy is going to be one of two ways. I can either say to myself, all right, self, to get from 70 to 90 requires me to add how much? Well, it requires me to add 20 degrees. Now, the other way you can do it is you can simply take 90 degrees and subtract 70 to give yourself 20. All right, let's see the next one. So next one is 82 degrees. So to get from 82 degrees to 90, which is the complementary angle, I would have to add what? Right, 8 degrees. Again, you can always subtract 82 from 90. Okay, number 3, 29 degrees. Okay, to get from 29 degrees to 90 degrees, we would have to add how much? Or subtract it from 90, and you're going to get 61 degrees. Now, I'm going to let you do the next 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own. I think I've kind of set you. I think you can do that. All right, so we're going to move down to make sure you leave room. Don't think that you're not doing it. You still have to do 4, 5, and 6. I'm just not going to do those with you. All right, so we're going to move down. I'm going to leave some space to remind you of that. And we're going to move down here to number 7. And number 7, the directions say find the supplement of the following angles. And so what is that going to mean? All right, it's going to have to add up to 180 degrees. So if it gives us 75 degrees to start with, again, we say to yourself, all right, from 75, I have to get up to 180. How do I do that? I add 105 degrees. Or remember, you can subtract it from 180. So number 8 gives us 118 degrees. If we subtract 118 degrees from 180, we get 62 degrees. Let's try one more. Number 9, 26 degrees. Subtract 26 degrees from 180 and we get what? 154 degrees. There we go. So we're doing pretty well. Okay. Now, let's move down. Again, I'm going to let you do 10, 11, and 12 on your own, so leave yourself space because you're going to go back and do those now that you know how. Let's do some of these questions together to make sure that everybody understands them. 13 asks, if two angles are both congruent and complementary, what is their measure? All right, so that means they are congruent, remember, means they're the exact same size, and complementary means those exact same sizes have to add up to 90 degrees. Okay, so 90 degrees divided by 2 is going to give us what? 45 degrees. Let's see what they ask for number 14. If two angles are both congruent and supplementary, what is their measure? So again, they're the exact same size. That's what the congruent means. But they add up this time to 180 degrees. That's a supplementary. So they would have to be what? 180 divided by 2, 90 degrees. Okay, number 15. Angles that have a common vertex and a common ray between them are... I'm not going to answer that one for you. You go back in your notes and you find out. Okay, number 16. Draw two angles that have a common vertex and a common ray that is not between them. All right, for that, it's going to look very similar to the adjacent rays. So we're going to have to explain what we mean. So here is my angle. And I'm going to say this is A, B, C, D. Now, you're going to say, hey, Miss Shriver, because that is adjacent, right? ABC, CBD. Yes, it is, but that's not. Those aren't going to be the angles I'm talking about. Okay, they want, remember, angles that have a common vertex, common right, excuse me, but not between them. So instead, I'm going to say I'm going to use ABD and angle CBD, because the common ray, just like in our first example, is actually the bottom one. It's not the one between them, and that's what they're asking for. All right, 17. This is one you can answer on your own. When two lines intersect, how many pairs of adjacent angles are formed? Okay. Number 18. When two lines intersect, how many pairs of vertical angles are formed? Remember, vertical angles are the ones that are across from each other. So, if you have something that looks like this, just doing it real fast, how many pairs do you have across? Well, there's a pair, and there's a pair, right? So our answer is going to be 2 pair. Number 19. When two intersecting lines are perpendicular, how many right angles are formed? That's another good one for you to go back in your notes and figure out. All right, now let's move on. If we look at B, it gives us something that looks at, B, exercise B. It gives us a picture to start with that looks something like this. And it's not perfect, and I don't care if you draw it or not. I'm just drawing it because it'll make it easier for me to explain things to you. All right, so I'm going to say, let's say 1. What did they do? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then they tell me that angle 1 here is 37 degrees. Remember, I told you we can use what we know about angles now to figure out the other guys. So they want to know, without measuring, in other words, you're not supposed to use your protractor. Okay, what are the following angles measure? All right, well, let's do the easy one first. Okay, and by the way, this isn't 19, this is actually 20. Sorry about that. All right, so they want to know first 20. You know what? Hang on. I'm just going to erase that because that's going to be highly confusing to everybody, including myself. All right, so let's come down here 20. All right, they say they want the measure for angle 2. All right, let's look and see, what do we have? What kind of a pattern do we have here? Well, if we look at 1, because that's the one we know about, 37 degrees, we can see that with 2, it's a supplementary angle. See that straight angle it makes, even though they're kind of upside down? So that means they have to add up to what? 180. So if this guy is 37, then angle 2 would have to be what in order to get up to 180 degrees? Okay, it would have to be 143 degrees. Okay, let's see what they ask us for 21. They say, what is the measurement for angle 3? Well, look at 3. Again, knowing what we know about angles, this is a vertical angle. That means these guys are exactly the same, so we don't even have to do any math. 3 is going to have to be 37 degrees. All right, and then for 22, okay, they want to know the measurement for angle 4. Well, remember, we just figured out that 2 is 143, so using our rule of vertical angles, that means that 4 is going to have to be 143 degrees also. And we got that. Now, the next section, I'm going to change the directions a little bit on you. Okay? No, it's actually going to be easier, believe it or not, because it asks you to describe something. Rather than describe, we're just going to show, because I think that's way easier. So we're going to start off, we're going to draw 2 parallel lines. This is the parallel lines in the transversal bit. Okay, and here are going to be my angles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, it really doesn't matter how you number them. You do them however you want to. Now, instead of describing, what we're going to do is we're going to list the angles that go along with this. So hopefully, here, I'm going to move things so people can see a little bit better, I hope. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. Okay, sorry if it's a little crooked. All right, so they want to know 25, alternate angles. Alternate angles, okay, remember, are the angles that are on opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so if we go back, hang on, I can't find my picture. All right, if we go back, I'm trying to find where it is in the book. If I lost where my notes are, hopefully you still have yours. All right, so alternate angles, okay, are going to be on either side. Now, remember, they don't tell us. Let me double check here, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling here. Let me double check. All right, they don't tell us what kind of alternate angles, because remember, if we look back in our notes, we can do interior and exterior. So we're just going to label all of them. All right, so alternate angles are going to be 1 and 6. Okay, or 1 and 8. I'm sorry, my fault. 1 and 8. I forgot what I numbered. 1 and 8. 2 and 7. 2 and 7, okay. And then, now those would be the which ones? Do you remember? Those would be the exterior alternates. And then the interior are going to be 3 and 6. And 4 and 5. Okay. Now, let's see. What else do we need to do here? All right. Interior angles. All right. So the interior, remember, those are the ones that are on the inside of the parallel lines. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, alternate exterior angles, that's going to be our 1 and 8. These are the ones we started with. And 2 and 7. Hopefully you can hear me even if you can't quite see. All right, and so for my last one, let's see, 28 corresponding. Remember, those are the ones that have to be almost exactly the same. So 1 and 5. Okay, 2 and 6. 2 and 6, okay, 3 and 7. I'm going to write it over here. 3 and 7, and then 4 and 8. Okay, hopefully that's not too bad. I'll take a look at this and see if I need to do corrections for this. All right, so let's move on. Now, it shows us a picture in the book, and you've got to be looking in the book. Okay, you've got to be looking in the book to see what I'm talking about here. So it says, given that lines L and M are parallel, fill in the blanks from the figure at right. All right, so 2 and 7. 2 and 7 are what kind of angles? Here's a clue. They're exactly the same size and shape, and they're exactly in the same position for the intersection. So they are, look back in your notes, corresponding. All right, so number 30 says, how about 2 and 5? 2 and 5. Now notice, where are they compared to the parallel lines? They're on the inside, right? So they're going to be interior something. And because they're on opposite sides, that means they alternate. So these are going to be alternate interior angles. Finally, 3 and 8. 3 and 8, again, you can tell that they're alternate because they're on opposite sides, but they're also on the outside of the parallel lines. So these would be alternate exterior angles. All right, now, it says in the next section, we're using that same picture. Given that the measurement of angle 1 is 101 degrees, find the measurement of the rest of them. Okay? Now, let's do 32 here. Okay, everybody see that? I think that's okay. So 32 says, what would angle 4 be if number 1 is 101? Well, look at 1 and 4. Okay, again, you have to be looking in your book. What are they? They're supplementary, which means they have to add up to 180. So if one of them is 101, okay, the other one is going to have to be 79. Okay, I'm going to let you, now that is a section. I will admit that this section here is one you're going to have to think. Okay, but I think you can do it, and I would kind of like to see what you guys come up with that. So I gave you the idea, but you will have to do some thinking, and you will probably need to go back in your book and look in your notes to get some of that. Let's see what else we got going on. All right, find the measurement of the following angles. Alrighty, I'm going to move my book in here. Now, when you're measuring angles, okay, remember you're going to take your protractor, and you're going to take the very center of it, and you're going to line it up, which in my case is right here. You can see that little line. Most of them actually have an extra, most protractors will have an extra hole or a dot or a little plus sign or a cross or something to show you where you can line that up. All right, so I know that this is my center. Mine has a little cross. I don't know if you can see it on the overhead, but I'm going to line up the bottom with the line of my protractor. Now, this is where the line's going. if you have trouble being able to tell how far out this line goes, you can make that line longer if you need to. All right. For me, if I go out like this, it's going to land somewhere around here. For me, it looks like about 34. Okay. My book tells me it's 32, you know, so that's okay. That's close enough. Now, let's say it is 32 degrees. Now what it wants us to tell is the complement and the supplement. All right, complement means it has to add up to, right, 90. All right, so that means the complementary angle would have to be 58. And then the supplemental angle, remember, we would have to go up to 180, is going to be 148. Okay. Let's do one more of these, and then I'm going to let you do the other two. All right. So this time it's going a little bit backwards, but I'm going to line my stuff up here. Here we go. Got my line going. Now notice this angle is kind of what I would call backwards. So therefore, I'm going to make sure that I read the outside numbers. The other way I know this is an obtuse angle. So therefore, I'm going to need the big numbers because it has to be more than 90 because of it being obtuse. So if you're not sure which numbers to look at, that's a way to tell. All right, and it comes out here, and it comes out to be about 143, 144. My book says 143, so we'll go with that. So we're going to say that this is, I'm sorry, I did that wrong, didn't I? See, I need you guys to help keep me straight on my numbers because I'm just not doing well at all. All right, so we're going to say that this guy is 143 degrees. Now, therefore, can it have a complementary angle? Think about it. Complementary angles have to add up to what? 90. This dude's already 143, so guess what? He ain't going to have a complement. But he can't have a supplement because for a supplement, he has to go up to 180. So 100 to get from 143 to 180, the supplementary angle has to be 37 degrees. Now I want you to go ahead and try 41 and 42. Don't worry about measuring them perfectly, just get a kind of roundabout number. But both of those, you are going to have to tell what's going to be the complementary angle and what's going to be the supplementary angle for both of them. Don't forget that. Now that brings us down, we're skipping C, and so that brings us down to the green section. All right, now for 47, 48, 49, and 50, it asks you whether it's a function. So here's a reminder. For a function, there can be no x repeats. So as you're looking at those, the x numbers cannot repeat. Okay? We also have the vertical line test. And remember, if the vertical line can go through more than one point, okay, then no, it's not a function. All right, so you guys look at those. Now, 51 and 52. All right, all they're asking you to do, I know that looks like, what are they doing? Okay, here's what they're doing. All they're saying is they want you to make x whatever number is with the g. So, for instance, on 51, okay, it says G6. What do they want you to do? They want you to take that they gave you up at the top where it says G to the x is equal to x over 3 plus 2. And they want you to put 6 in for x. So instead, you're going to have 6 over 3 plus 2. Well, 6 divided by 3 is what? 2. Okay, so that's going to be 2 plus 2, which is 4. Okay, so I did that one for you. You figure out 52. And I think that's actually as far as we have to go. You don't have to do anything else up until 52 is it. Now, remember, if you do have trouble, it's totally fine for you to email me, text me, ask somebody else. Remember, you can look back in your book, look back in your notes to do this. I know this is really different from the stuff we've done, but you guys can do it. So, thanks for your attention, guys. Let me know if you have any trouble. Bye-bye.